I think the last picture I saw of you modeling was like, I think you had like on a red trench coat.
Yeah, so that was for Vondi shoes. So she's incredible. So she's, you know, super vegan, eco-conscious, cruelty-free.
All her makeup is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I just love her. She's the OG though, but doing it before anybody was.
Right.
So yeah, she started her own shoe line, and I was fortunate enough to, you know, be a part of that. And that was like my first job after I quit like my my agency. So I was like really grateful.
Nice.
Yeah,
that should look good, girl.
Thank you.
It did.
It's like the classic debate of the money or what I believe in, and it's always the biggest checks from like big oil that's destroying the environment or whatever. I remember like cheat codes. One of our biggest checks was like DiGiorno's Pizza, and there was like 100 people
Trash
there.
Ass food.
It's insane. I mean, they, you know, it's like there's a very few companies that when you funnel it all the way up, they might have like a name like DiGiorno or like, you know, just different products, but it all funnels to like 10 major companies, and they are ruining the planet. So
100%.
We're in this little like game for them, and it's hard to kind of like navigate yourself out. But if we can at least make strides in that direction, that's what it's about. Because we're now having to like figure out how like consumerism actually works here, and like try to, you know, work our way around that. But it's hard. But yeah, it's rewarding. And
it's weird when you're an artist or an influencer, because the whole idea is every time you do a shoot or you do content, it's like, oh, I need to wear a different outfit. I mean, they're going to judge me if I wear the same outfit from before. Yeah. So then what are you going to do? You go to ASOS or H&M or Fashion Nova or whatever that they update their styles like every week, but you know that it's cheaply made, probably most likely.
Cheap and like killing the planet, and also the people who are making it are also dying while making these garments. Like no one wants to think about that, but like, so I was in fast fashion because I was like, well, I don't wear fur, suede, leather, feathers, you know, whatever. Because
even when we're working, you wouldn't?
No, wow, I never wear animal products. Yeah, no matter what. Even like if it was a styling product that wasn't sold, like just would never wear it. Oh wow. But then I was like, okay, I learned more about it, and I was like, plastics and fast fashion materials that are made of like rayon and polyester and like acrylic are just as damaging because they're made from plastics. They're terrible for the environment. They're cheap price point because they are awful, and they shouldn't be on our bodies. They're toxic to our bodies. So when I realized that, I was like, I was just over it, and now I wear mostly vintage everything. I don't care what it is. I won't walk around with fur or whatever, but I wear vintage leather boots, and nobody can tell me anything because it's better than a fast fashion vegan PU, you know, vegan boot that was mass produced at 500,000 quantities, produced X amount of toxic runoff. It's just better. Yeah. Have to put your ethics aside sometimes for like the greater good. So
do you think though, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, do you think maybe, because obviously we're more fortunate than a lot of people, right? Because of what we do. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's easier to do that because of where you are now?
Well, yeah, like it's a privilege to do anything that like I've gotten to do. And so like I feel, because we are so privileged, majority of people here in LA, like in our circle, we have the choice to make those choices. Right. Because if we have them here, there's people who would die to have those options. Like I would die to be able to go to a Wasteland, or which is like a vintage shop, or like any of these, you know, super cool consignment shops and get this stuff, versus like someone's in the middle of America and just doesn't have those options and only has like A or B. So it is like fortunate, but also these items are even sometimes cheaper than the fast fashion items. Totally. So like it's a privilege, but also it can be super doable, like budget friendly. Yeah.
And I don't know a lot of information about this, but one of my friends, she's super into fashion, like she makes clothes, and she was telling me that it costs a lot of money, and it's kind of really bad for the planet for the amount of production that like Zara does. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I guess I don't really know.
Terrible. So like, I mean,
you talking about Yumi?
No. Actually, my friend Maria, she was telling me that like, you know, these companies are making all these clothes, but it's super bad for the environment. I don't really know how.
Well, fashion is, I think it's the second largest pollutant on planet Earth.
Interesting.
So like it's industry. It's terrible. So you have to think about like, okay, for example, I always like to give the example of leather boots, just because you can have like a vegan leather boot or you can have like an animal leather boot. One contributes to animal suffering on a, you know, mass scale. Leather isn't a byproduct, it's a co-product. People think that you kill an animal, you have leather laying around, it's skin, and it has to go through a whole other process. It's not a byproduct. Byproduct means it's just there afterwards.
Yeah.
It's a co-product. So it has to go into like Bangladesh, where they have these huge tanneries where these people use their bare hands to tan these leathers, and the toxins seep into their skins. They're permanently dyed, the color that they work with most often. They die prematurely. Most of them, like the average is like 45 years old. They'll have crazy skin conditions. Little kids are working in there. And so you have like some of like the top designers in the world working in the same factories that like a fast fashion would. So like the price points are such a margin, but they're still using shit factories, and it's so terrible. So you have that. Hurts people, hurts the planet. The dyes go into waterways, kill fish, people, like just everything. And then you have the vegan one, and it's all the same stuff except it doesn't harm animals. Like it doesn't kill cows in the process. Yeah. So when you have these two options, it's like they're both shit. Yeah. I want to get the one that's just already here. Yes, it's produced its own waste and its, own later or previous time, but like it's already here now. I'd rather get something that's just, it's used, but whatever.
Yeah.
So you're kind of advocating for the solution is recycle.
Yeah, like, I mean, vintage as much as you can. And then, like, the next step up from that should be, like, sustainable brands. Because just existing, we have a footprint. Like, we're never just, like, if we really care about the planet, we should just, like, this is so morbid, but, like, if we really didn't want to create a footprint, then we should just off ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we're always going to have one. So, like, it's about trying to find that balance. So it's just, I think, vintage, like, things that are already made, not secondhand so much, because that's, like, the next step up from that, but, like, true vintage, then, like, secondhand, then sustainable. And then after that, just trying to, if you have to buy something that isn't any of those, just keep it for a long time.
Yeah.
If you can.
But, I mean... That's just not lasting for a long time.
It doesn't, exactly.
Yeah.
The quality's terrible.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the crazy dilemma when you're in the industry and you make money from the industry and then you realize its negative effects. Like, I'm a big basketball fan, and it's like they make so much money from China, and there's like all this crazy stuff going on in China, and none of them are allowed to say anything about it. Because they know that their jobs will be in jeopardy to do it. So I could imagine if you're a model or you're in the fashion industry, there's a lot of pressure to, hey, you're on the shoot, like we're paying you X amount for the day, like just put on this fur jacket, like shut up, just do your job, So
100%. Yeah. I mean, I got asked like to do Fashion Week, and they were like, well, it's not a lot of money, but it'll catapult your career.
This last September?
The one before that.
February.
And they were like, well, and you could just, you'll have to wear something that's like an animal product, but like it'll catapult your career. I'm like, I'm done with making those sacrifices. Like, I don't need to.
But even beyond that, Sophia, it's like this, like an opportunity. Like I tell people all the time, like modeling for me, like it's very superficial because it's like, I've been awarded an opportunity to, model clothes because I'm pretty. But in the grand scheme of things,
beautiful.
I love you. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like, is that what I really truly want to represent? Is that who I am?
Right.
No, that's more of like a stepping stone. Do you know what I mean?
You have to couple it with something. Otherwise,
100%.
it's empty. It's like,
it is.
We are human beings. We're not mannequins.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, it's just so transactional. We hire you to put these clothes on, look good. Like, I want to know about the person wearing the clothes. I want to know about their story.
Yeah, exactly.
How different they are. Like how imperfect they are.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think is cool. And so since we're not there quite yet, like on a mass scale, I feel like though, and just in general, if everyone boycotted the things that we don't agree with, maybe like, basketball, things with like China, like if everyone was just like, we're all going to take a seat on this, they are forced then to change because they can't go a day without making money. Like literally one day would be catastrophic to any industry. So
and it's like, y'all make so much fucking money already. Like one day, like...
It's disgusting, yeah.
How much money do you need? I always think about that when I see people like, even just Jeff Bezos. I'm like, how much money do you need?
It's like I do believe that people who, work really hard and are innovators are well deserving of, making their slice of the pie, but it should funnel into doing even more good for the world. If you're sitting on a pile of money and doing nothing with it, then you're sitting on a pile of money and doing nothing with it. So
literally.
Yeah.
Is
there like alternate for like, say for example, you have cars and you have gas cars, and then you have somebody like Elon Musk who is doing it in the capitalism way of like, I'm going to create the greatest company for electric cars, and by doing that it'll impact the environment in a positive way. Is there something like that could happen with the fashion industry? Like somebody, because I've seen there are some products that have been coming out that are kind of like innovative materials or whatever they are. Is that something that like the Elon Musk of fashion could come along and then like lower our carbon footprint, for example.
100%. Like there's so many things like that. Like I drive an electric car. I try to do anything I can. And instead of getting the Tesla that I really wanted, I was like, I have the chance to reach so many people and show how affordable this can be. So I got the Nissan Leaf. I really wanted the Tesla.
Yeah, I used to drive that one too.
Yeah, I love it. But I was like, this is what, like price point wise, like most people can afford. I went like looked at the average and I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
What kind of range you got on that?
150.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Nice.
I used to drive it like 4 years ago and it was like 95 like on a good day.
Yeah, so you're punching it.
It's good that they keep
better.
Innovating the technology.
So there's that, and then there's also like where and then people like to point out that and go, well, they still create lithium batteries and blah blah blah. Okay, big picture, guys, nothing is perfect. We have to go, what is creating 1/100th, 1/1000th of a footprint, and we got to go with that, and then move even more in the other direction. So like nothing's perfect,
right?
But with clothes, I do believe that vintage garments are the solution. We have so many vintage garments that we send them, like India sends them back to us. Like it's just in this continual, like, here, you take it, you take it. We have so many of them. So if we have that many circulating, then we should be taking those materials and putting them into new ones, like making reworked items and different things like that. But there's so many clothes going around. We really don't even need to be making anything new other than maybe like undergarments and like shoes, because
I mean, but to deal with that issue would mean that we would have to deal with the issue of instant gratification,
right?
And how that everything is a trend and people just want to be on this new wave, and it's just like the youth right now are just on that wave.
Yeah, I mean, and it's perpetuated by like people like me at one point. Like I was posting, this is cool, this is it, like a different week, a different style, and like, so I think if everyone realizes that, and the people who have the ability to like kind of shift that mentality, that's like our job to do that. And at the same time, like, trends come back in style, but because they've already been created, so they are in vintage clothing. Like it's not like they're being reinvented for the first time. But I don't know, people just want so much that consumerism, that
girl,
it's crazy.
The next best thing. It's sad.
It makes me sick, honestly, when I'm about to call them out, but I cannot stand the Fashion Nova stuff. It bothers me so bad. Like, there's so many reasons why, but when they're everywhere.
My grandma used to say, cheap is expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you buy something for $20, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I frequent in Fashion Nova if I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like I need like pieces to like, I'm testing. So it's like I got to do some certain shit. I can't buy Gucci or not fuck Gucci, but I can't buy like Mia Vesper every time I'm trying to like do a test. But what I've noticed is it's just like, God, it's such a waste of money. Yeah. It's like the next week it's like done.
Right. And you're right, it's not the true cost. It's actually like if everything in the world was actually priced at its actual impact to people, the planet, your health, like the price like for everything would be shifted. It would actually be a reverse of everything. Yeah. Like it's quite incredible. Yeah.